Hello, welcome back to Garden and Joy. My name is Stephanie, and I'm gardening in Southeast Massachusetts, Zone 6B7A. Recently changed, so still on the fence. Today I'm here for my March garden tour, and there's not much to see, to be completely truthful with y'all. But I just kind of want to do this as like a before. So when all the beautiful perennials that I planted last year, as well as bulbs, start popping up, we can see how much of an impact those really make. So right now I'm standing in front of my Japanese andromeda. This is an absolutely beautiful shrub. This is a white variety. It has tiny little white bellflowers. It's so beautiful. I actually grew up with one of these in my parents' garden as well. This variety stays about 8 feet tall. It's one on the taller side, and it's in a part sun, part shade situation here. It's underplanted with probably my least favorite plant that I have in my garden, and that is the yucca, or the yucca, depending on how you choose to pronounce that. So like this beautiful plant, this beautiful shrub I love it. I came out here a couple of weeks ago. It was very cold, and it just caught me by surprise. I wasn't expecting it to bloom so early, and it's already been about 2 weeks, and the blooms still look beautiful. I love it. This little bed here, honestly, it hasn't really been touched since we moved in. The only thing that we did do was try to get rid of yucca, and if you have it in your yard and you have tried to get rid of it, you know it's a feat, it's a challenge. We actually made the problem worse. There was maybe about 4 plants here, and now there's probably like 20. We even came in with a mini backhoe and like excavated all of this. Left it open for about 6 months, like a big giant hole, so that everything would dry out, and then we covered it up, and it still came back. So if anyone has any advice on how to get rid of it, I would greatly appreciate it. It's just, the thing is you can see clearly here, we have a deciduous tree. I believe it's an ash tree. We have a deciduous tree right next to it, and all the leaves, we have oak leaves in there, maple leaves, like all the leaves in there, they get caught. And even with a leaf blower, we're using a gas powered leaf blower, it still doesn't pick everything up, because the yucca leaves, they have like these little curlicue type things, because it almost like peels. They almost like peel, and that catches the leaves too, and then it's just, to me, it's very unattractive, and they don't belong in New England. But obviously everyone has their own opinion about that, right? Surprisingly not in bloom yet is my forsythia. This forsythia is very large. It's probably, I would say, about 8 feet tall, and it looks like it's just about to open. Like, maybe, you know what, it's probably gonna bloom next week, maybe even this weekend. It's so close to blooming. But it's such a beautiful, like, beacon of spring, that bright yellow color that you just love to see in your garden in the springtime. This particular one, it has some sort of disease. I haven't quite figured out what it is, but do you see that? I think it's a fungus growth. Let me focus. I believe it's some sort of fungus growth. It's almost like a cancer. It forces the plant to grow tumors. And so I know it's sickly, and I've actually talked about getting rid of it for like the last 3 years, and have not, because I'm like, oh well, I'll just wait for after it blooms, and I just haven't done that yet. So I might decide to take it out this year after it blooms. I do know, because this is a fairly shady location. Once this tree leaves out, it's a very, very large tree. once this tree leaves out, this is a very shaded location, so I believe what I would like to replace it with would be an oak leaf hydrangea, because I think that would look beautiful here. And then I'm just gonna pan a little bit, and so again, beautiful Japanese Andromeda. And then over here behind the grill, try to keep that out of the shot, it's kind of unattractive, but we have a couple of barberries here, and these look like they're gonna leaf out pretty soon as well. They do have buds, and they also have thorns. These are actually invasive in Massachusetts. I haven't taken them out. I haven't really done anything to them because they are covered in thorns. It's honestly not at the top of my to-do list right now. They're not spreading, so it might be a variety that's a bit more sterile. But you know, a future Stephanie problem. And then the one thing I did do is I came in and I planted daffodils in here. Just excuse all the random toys my kids leave around. So I did come in and I did plant, I'm getting stabbed by the barberry. I did plant daffodils in here. As you can see, like with the sun, this is south facing, so the sun is behind me right now, and so even with this being a shaded area, this is a good location for the daffodils because they're in full sun all winter long. They're in full sun, you know, all spring. So it's not until the tree leaves out that it becomes shaded. So it's really perfect for daffodils, and we don't have a ton here. I'd like to plant some more and up at this display, but they will naturalize. I do have one, it looks like it's about to bloom. Another bud here. I don't see a lot of buds. It's kind of funny. I planted ice follies here fall of 2022, and that is not what came up last spring. So, oh, I do have another bud over there. So last spring we got an absolutely beautiful, actually, multiflora daffodil. So there's multiple little daffodils per stem, and it was absolutely stunning. And they were like a creamy white with a pale yellow center, and they were so pretty. I want to say the variety is Avalanche. Here I have a large, probably about 5 feet tall, rhododendron. You know, not a great shape, not super attractive plant, but you know, it's doing its thing. It works for now. This is not a section that I'm trying to reinvent the wheel right now. So that's what we have over here. Coming into the new garden bed that we planted last fall. I had a lot going on last year finishing up school, so I didn't get to finish this out as I had hoped. So honestly, it's kind of hard to see anything here. I'm going to be coming in within the next couple of weeks and spreading wood chips all over this, and I'll make it, you know, a little tidier and help keep the weeds and the grass down, and then it'll be a little easier to see everything. But we do have some ladies' mantle coming up. I have a little bunch here, some right here. I did plant a third right there, but looks like that may have gotten nibbed this winter. Right here I do have, this is the summer wine 9-bark from Proven Winners. It is budded up. It just hasn't leafed out yet. But look at the beautiful exfoliating bark. Can you see that? It's so pretty. I do have a cluster of plants over here too that I do need to plant. This one right here is the bloomstruck. It is a macrophilia, but it does bloom, which is super cool. So it doesn't, you don't have to worry about like the buds dying if you have too cold of a winter, which is nice. So it is leafed out, and then even down here we're having some fresh new growth too, which is super cool. I'm excited to see this one. It looks so beautiful in the nursery, and so really excited to see that in the garden. It's still a little guy. We'll see how much it grows once I get it planted this spring. I do have some creeping phlox right here. This is a pretty candy stripe one that's coming back. I'll try to get that one planted. The idea with this was to be a ground cover in this garden. And then this is an aster. This is also coming back. Like this, I didn't cut this off because I didn't do any fall cleanup last year. But this has some new growth on it. You can kind of see right there. So I'm excited for this one. This is a native in our area. Super pretty. And then I do have 2 proven winners, Heaven Sense Jacob's Ladder, which I'm excited to get in. The bunny rabbits do like this, guys. So if you have rabbits in your area, just kind of keep that in mind. One hellebore. This is a gold collection hellebore that I picked up last year. And I never got it planted. So I do have new growth. It's still alive, but no buds. I also caught a rabbit eating this. So if you guys have hellebores, let me know if you deal with rabbits or not eating yours, because I haven't heard of rabbits being a pest, but you know, obviously when they're hungry they'll eat anything. But here, this is the proven winners Chantilly lace goat's beard. So I'm excited for this. This is gonna get really big. This is gonna get it's got some roots exposed. I gotta cover that up, but it's gonna get about 3 feet wide, so it's gonna be very, very large. And then my Arctic Fire dogwood, I think, you know, I came in last year and I did a lot of pruning to it because it looked like it was dying. I think it died. I don't see any buds on it, any leaf buds. I think it might have died, but I'll wait. I'll give it a chance. Over here I have a bunch of iris that I planted. I think this might have been the last thing I shot before I kind of disappeared for a few months. These iris were given to me by my neighbor, the ones loosely planted, and then those right there, I don't actually remember where they came from, but they were in my yard in a potting soil bag for a very long time, and planted those out just as is last year, and they look pretty good. And the last thing I have in this area is the baby blue spruce that I planted last year, and this guy looks just very happy, very healthy. Really excited to see how this does this year, how much growth it puts on. Okay, so now on to our vegetable garden. We've actually done a lot of work over here in the last couple of weeks, so I'm excited for this. Last year, you may remember that we had a tunnel of 3 kettle panel arbors that we grew squash, cucumbers, peas, beans. I think that's it. And we decided to change things up this year. You know, that's a nice thing about using the cattle panel trellises, is they're so easy to just take down and disassemble and just move. So this year we put, let me see if I can get a good shot of it. We put round 1 right here at the entrance, so right at the beginning. It's kind of hard to see because there's nothing growing on it yet. And then I already spread some wood chips here. These we got from a chip drop. I'm gonna be doing a lot more wood chip spreading soon, but I put these out, and these are hopefully going to keep down on the weeds. I do have this giant rock here, and that's just to keep any pests from trying to crawl, burrow inside the gate, because it is netting, hardware cloth netting that goes down 2 feet all along the fenced-in area, but it obviously doesn't right at the door. So that's kind of what the purpose of that stone. Bit of a tripping hazard, but most of the time it's fine. So I am getting ready to plant peas on these arbors. So like I said, we had 3 in a row last year. I separated them. My husband and I set them up, one at the main entrance, and then we have one at the back entrance. And then we weren't sure we were going to put the other one, so what we actually decided is we're actually going to only do 2 so far this year of the arbors, and then we're going to use this cattle panel, and we're going to lift it up with some posts, maybe about 1.5 2 feet off the ground, and use that to grow tomatoes on this year. Figured that would be a fun experiment to do. I think it'll be a lot better situation than tomato cages, because the tomato cages, honestly, they're too small for the heirloom indeterminate varieties that we like to grow. So we figured we'll try that this year, and if it works well, great. If it doesn't, we can reevaluate next year. I do have 4 varieties of peas that I'll be starting in another video this week, but it'll be really nice to have those in the ground. The temperatures, like right now it's cold, I'm wearing my winter coat, but the temperatures have been around like the 50s and 60s, so really got to get those in, just so that we don't have one of those all of a sudden it's summer and everything dies, because I really like the peas. I do have a lacinato or dinosaur kale that's still kicking. This is from last year's garden, and if you know anything about kale, they are super hardy. They are actually hardy down to I've heard -10 degrees. Is that crazy or what? And it's kind of cool because it fell down during the winter, but it's starting to grow like new growth right there, which is awesome. I do still have to do some cleanup in the beds. These are some pepper plants that we didn't get cleaned up yet. The wind's been crazy, so it knocked down this chair. I'll just pop that right back up. Yeah, it's a super windy day today, but over here we have some rose planted. I have some Napa cabbage here, so I believe there's we've had rainstorms the last couple of days, and it looks like it may have annihilated this Napa cabbage. I'll just get that resituated. All right, so yeah, so I have some Napa cabbage planted right here, and I do have I think like a couple more seedlings that I still need to transfer out. Behind it we have broccoli rabe, which I've never grown before, so I'm excited to try that. I had really poor germination with my broccoli seeds this year, so I do only have 3 broccolis planted in there at the way back. We also decided to put a layer of wood chips right along the edge of our fencing, because last year that was a very common place for weeds to grow. So we put about 3 to 4 inches of wood chips. We're probably gonna come in a little bit more with the wood chips, a little closer to the actual plants. That was a super common place for the weeds to grow last year, because we had to use a weed whacker on the other side, and so the weeds were coming in and dropping their seeds. So it was not the best situation. So hopefully the wood chips will keep down on that. The other thing is we did have morning glories growing on this back section of fence last year. I had a lot going on last fall, so I I let them go to seed, which was not the best idea. So I'm a little nervous that we're gonna have a ton of morning glory babies coming in all along this back area here. It looks beautiful, and I'll welcome it again. I just have to make sure that it's not taking over my plants and growing on my plants, suffocating them out. We do have some red cabbages, planted right here, and then a little further down we have bok choy. Actually, bok choy last year was one of my all-time favorite vegetables that we grew in our garden. I was harvesting mini bok choys just to make a quick stir fry for myself for lunch, serving it with some jasmine rice and just stir frying with garlic, fresh ginger, and a little soy sauce, and that was it, and it was fantastic. Definitely excited to do that again late spring. So this right here is our second trellis, our second arbor. Again, we have a good layer of wood chips there to help keep the weeds down. One of the things I'm most excited about is this bed over here probably gets the most sun, direct afternoon sun. And so it's going to be nice when I'm working in this garden to have a respite, because we're going to be growing all kinds of things on this trellis. So if you remember last year, my trellises were completely covered in greenery. So this is going to be a really nice spot. I'm going to stick a chair there. I know there's a gate right there, but we actually don't use it right now. But I'm just going to stick a chair there and just hang out in the shade for a little bit when it starts to get a little too hot. So that's gonna be nice. Okay, and then the last garden I want to show you is actually my favorite. It's my cottage garden border, and we planted so much stuff in here last year, and it's actually going to be a third season in ground, so I'm super excited about what it's actually going to look like this year. I did already come through and do most of the spring cleanup. I do still have a section that I do need to plant, and then I'm sorry, not plant, clean up, and then I also need to come in and finish spreading the wood chips. We're doing wood chips this year just because we were able to get our hands on it for free, and I really just want to tidy this up faster. The other thing I do need to do is I need to come in and finish my cobblestone edge. So hopefully, if the weather holds, we'll be able to work on that this week. It was really warm, and now it's I don't want to say it's cold. It's just the wind is so strong that even a 50-degree day with the sun like today feels very cold. So just tasks that we need to just wait for the weather to just be a little bit more comfortable to work in. So I'm just going to turn the camera around and show you guys what's going on here. So we have here, this is really cool. So I got this last year, I didn't plant it. This is the Rock and Round Pure Joy sedum from Proven Winners, and it's just so beautiful when it comes in with the fresh growth. It's all that little rosette clusters. I had a couple of dianthus planted here, and I had to pull them. They were dead. They were so dead. So I did end up pulling those. The thing is I'm gonna plant the sedum here, but I don't know where it's gonna go until after we finish the cobblestone edge. So it's kind of in limbo right now. Plus I do have hostas. I have some mouse ear hostas planted in here, and I can't see them right now. They're not up yet. It's still a little early for them. So also I have creeping phlox. This is like a lilac lavender blue variety. It's very pretty. In the back here, underneath those leaves, are liatris. So those are not coming up yet. Those are a white variety. It's typical height, about 36 inches, but that's a white variety. It's really pretty. So this section here is mostly like blues, purples, and white with pops of yellow. So as you can see, those little daffodils there. I believe those are the tete-a-tete. I don't actually remember. I got them, I think, a couple years ago from like Home Depot after Easter. So, you know how they do that. This right here is pink, so this is gonna look really pretty in this area with the blues and the purples. I do have catmint planted here as well. So I have a few, but they're kind of covered under the leaves, so you can't really see them right now. But this one right here, you can see. I do have a catmint. It smells so good. It smells so good when you rub your fingers on it. Right here is my grape hyacinth. You can see it looks a little worse for the wear. I don't know why, but this particular variety of grape hyacinth just doesn't completely die back, and it had grown so much because of our warm weather that it actually got a little burn from the cold weather. That's why you see some of those like purpley brown streaks on it. I do have a Heliopsis planted right about here that's really pretty shades of yellow, and that has variegated leaves, which is super nice. Those iris back there are an Italian grape variety, or they're immortal white. I have a few sections of iris. I believe those might actually be the immortal white now that I'm thinking about it. So that's a reblooming variety. It blooms in May and October, but for some reason it's only bloomed in October for us, which is a little weird. I have a pale pink hybrid tea rose in here. I've already come in and cleaned that up. It hasn't started to bud out new growth yet, but it is alive, so we'll just be patient on that. Some more creep and phlox here. This right here I'm super excited about. This is yarrow that I grew from seed last year. It's Love Parade yarrow from Baker's Creek, and it is, I didn't realize when I bought, I thought I was buying a native, but this is actually a Siberian yarrow. So it is absolutely beautiful though, so I'm really excited to see it. We do have some daffodils. We do have some daffodils in here. These are the replete daffodil. Some more right there, and then back there, those are alliums. Last year when we did our bulb planting, we went around with the auger and I just drilled holes, and then my children just plopped bulbs in the ground. So truthfully, no clue what those are. So that's kind of the fun this year, because I'm gonna get to see what those are, and I'm super excited to find out. My Miss Ruby Buddleia never lost any of its leaves this year. It didn't die back at all until like this past week. You can see there's like some tip burn on those leaves back there, and that like just happened this past week. So it's kind of interesting to see that. So that's doing great. I can't wait to see how big that gets this year. It is a variety that gets to be about 5 feet tall and wide. So we did actually move it from its original location to this location to give it a little bit more space. And that's also why I did start redefining the edge of the border, because I wanted to make sure that it had as much room to grow that it wanted. Some more Love Parade yarrow here, and then another cluster here. These are also the replete daffodil. They're really beautiful, double bloom, peachy pink. Yeah, probably not the best day to do a garden tour. I had planted some Dusty Miller last year, and these are an annual. They're not perennial, but they had actually made it through the winter. So just kind of seeing what was going to happen, seeing if I could recoup them. But again, just like those leaves on the Buddleia just died back, this just died back too. So I think I think these are just gonna get pulled. I'll make that decision when I finish mulching this bed. Some more yarrow there, and then look at the alliums. I'm so excited. They look so healthy. I did plant sapphire baptisia. I don't remember the actual name, like sapphire baptisia from Proven Winners there last year, and I'm 95% sure that I pulled it when I did my spring cleaning. This is why I always leave tags, as you can see here. This is why I always leave tags when I plant something new in the garden until I get comfortable with where it is. I just make these mistakes, right? So right here, these are so beautiful. They're kind of fizzling out. They've been blooming for a couple of weeks. That one you can see is completely gone, but these are Iris reticulata, and they're so pretty. They're about 6 inches tall, and then once these die back, the greenery keeps growing, and it'll just keep growing and absorbing all that sun. But those are just so beautiful, and I just loved seeing them. They were actually my first thing that bloomed this year, which is so cool. Right here is the Boom Chocolata perennial geranium, and it's so beautiful, guys. I love the new foliage. Look how pretty that is with the purple. The foliage all summer long is like a bronze. It's so pretty. I love it. I do have some more allium planted here, and here. So I'm hoping those are, I think the Schubertii variety, because that one stayed kind of on the small side. So that would make sense as to why it's at the front of the border. This right here, I believe, is a perennial allium, but I'm not sure what happened because a lot of it's exposed. So I'm gonna have to wait and see, because I genuinely do not remember. We do have some peonies planted here. They haven't started coming up yet. There's Sarah Bernhardt. There's 2 of those here. I don't see them yet, so we'll see. Those should be coming up soon. Back there, right in the center, I have a Nora Lee garden phlox, and that gets super tall. It gets like 30, I want to say about 38 to 42 inches high. It gets really tall, really pretty. Variegated creamy yellow and green leaves, and then even the flowers have variation too. They're white with pink throats, and really pretty. And then all around them in a V, we have those Italian grape, like pale blue iris, as well as some of the white iris as well. Over here, see this funny looking one right there? That is actually a native tulip. I transplanted that from an old garden bed that we're trying to get rid of, and that has bright red tulips, but the leaves are really what's cool about it. Let me zoom in on that. Okay, do you guys see that? Isn't that cool? So they're green leaves with the red variegation. So pretty. I don't know if these are gonna bloom. They might be fizzled out. I think these are more daffodil. And then right there, we do actually have some peonies coming up right there. So those growth points are really exciting to see in the spring. Actually, I think I see a few. So yeah, one right there, one right there, one right there. So that's exciting to see. And this is also a Sarah Bernhardt. This is my biggest. That's why I have the peony cage on it. Once these start, these other 2 actually haven't even produced for me. So once they start producing, then I'll put a cage around them, just so I know are so I don't plant over them, but also to support because the blooms are extremely heavy. All right, so as you can see, went from dark to light. This section I already started coming in with all the wood chips, and it's a lot harder to see what's going on here because the green just doesn't pop as much on the light brown. But I did plant, so right along the cobblestone edge here, I do have some, I believe they're serendipity, they might be millennium alliums planted right along the edge here. I have over here, I have some more of the replete daffodils, and then a little tuft right there is a really beautiful apricot daylily, transplanted that last fall. I do also have a little cluster right there. In the back we have some more alliums. In the cans, that's a Ringium sea holly that I never got planted last year. We have a swoop of of tulips, and that's kind of fizzling out. I planted that probably about 4 seasons ago, and you know, tulips just don't perennialize well. They just kind of fizzle out. So we'll see if I get anything this year. Another little cluster of iris. That's actually kind of funny because it's maybe about 2 feet from the center of that Weigelia there, so it's way too close. But those iris, I let my daughter like randomly have at it and grab a bucket of iris, and she decided that they were going to be planted there, so I let her. I don't actually know what variety that is because they haven't bloomed yet. Over here I have, that's an aster. You can't even see it, but there's an aster right there. That's a Mystic Spires Pink Potion Veronica from Proven Winners. This one is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. That is Salvia Color Riot Pink Dawn, maybe. I'm like not 100% sure of the name. There are some crocus here planted, but it's kind of hard to see those. Again, all those alliums. And then I do have, let me just get a little closer. So these are super healthy, right? Super beautiful. We have a spirea. This is the Proven Winners Artisan Series, and it is budding up, so I'm excited to see that. We have some Color Riot, Violet Riot, I think. I want to say that's right. Salvia back there, next to some more alliums and tulips, and then that just keeps going. So I'm really excited to see this whole garden bed. We do have an agastache there. I'm gonna clean up that. There's some what is it called? Bellflower. Campanula. There's some campanula in those jugs. I just have to find a home for them. I'm just not really sure where I'm going to put them. Ton of daylilies in the back, a ton of alliums. The daylilies are the orange kind, which just not my favorite. The alliums, though, look so pretty with the daylilies, like the orange and the purple together. We do have to take that Shasta daisy out, pop that artisan spirea, double play spirea in, so that I have a threesome of 1, 2, 3, and that's gonna look a little bit more attractive. And then I'll probably move that Shasta daisy out a little bit more to my section of like the blue and the whites. And then over here, just a ton more work to do here. We have a rose here that I'm considering taking out. I thought it was a native variety. I did a lot more research and found that it's actually an invasive variety. So I'm weighing my options there, making decisions. We'll see. It is leafed out, and it is beautiful when it blooms, so I'll think about that decision. Then I do have some wildberry, maybe. Those might be wild berry hooker there. And then there's a silver gumdrop there. Penstemons that need to get planted out. That is the Midnight Masquerade. I do have a Siberian iris that needs to be planted. These 3 cans, these I had put peonies in, and they just never sprouted for me last year. So I think it's a bust, but I'll just give it this little bit to see. And then right there I have Veronica, native Veronica, purplicious. It's really pretty. So I'm excited to see how everything shakes out this year. A lot of my plants are a lot larger than when we originally did this bed, so I'm super excited. And then again, the front of this building does need painting as well as the back, but I do have a climbing rose that I am going to be planting here, and I'm super excited about that. So you'll see that in an upcoming video as well. Alright, thank you for spending time with me today, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on my garden. Again, this is more of a before than a finished product. Obviously, it's March. It's almost April, but it's still March. So there's not a lot of things to look at in the garden in New England, but it's nice to see all those beautiful greens pop up. All right, thank you so much. Have a great day.